All right, Bitcoin is in free fall right now, and this is as bloody as I've seen it probably in the last 6 months or so. What we saw on May 19th was that ended up being a massive opportunity, and so I can't help but fight the feeling that right now we're looking at the deflationary shock that I was thinking of, and that I was theorizing about, exactly what Cathie Wood has been talking about, and why why ARK Invest aped so hard into Bitcoin during the last dip, is that they see Bitcoin as the eventual beneficiary of a deflationary shock just like this. This is where it gets a little bit convoluted, so you have to follow this. But essentially, if this dives down and nosedives with the mainstream stock market hard enough, then there will be intervention by the government, and that intervention will gigasend the crypto economy, because once again, the world will be drowning in free money. And whether or not that lasts for a short amount of time or a long amount of time, what we know is that effectively, the real estate collapse that we're looking at is eerily similar to the 2008 financial crisis, which is literally the reason that Bitcoin was created. And Satoshi cites this in his original, in the Genesis block of Bitcoin. There's a coded message about the 2008 financial crisis. And so all of the lack of trust for intermediaries, all the lack of trust for the financial institutions that have pretty much governed our entire financial world, that is the premises on which Bitcoin was created and based around. And that is exactly why we have this new monetary policy that cannot be essentially debased. And so right now we're looking at the exact moment, except in China, and it's a black swan event that's starting out in China. I saw some people in the comments saying it's not a black swan event, that essentially this company Evergrande has been insolvent for years. Sure, whatever. Well, now it's popping off. This is the moment it's popping off, and this is when it's becoming everybody's problem. Their irresponsibility, their over leveraging. So I think that it's only a matter of time before we see some kind of announcement out of Beijing, some kind of announcement out of our government about what would eventually be some kind of bailout, stimulus, or something that will go ahead and stop the economy from imploding. I don't believe that that's politically popular, and anyone who thinks that politically popular is not going to decide this is dead wrong, because otherwise the politics are just so divided in America, they can't give the other side that many brownie points. And so I believe without a doubt that we're going to see a massive new modern monetary experiment where we just flood the ecosystem with more and more cash to keep the music going on this game of musical chairs. And I do not believe that right now is the moment that it ends. So unless you think that the governments are just going to let the entire economy collapse, I don't. I believe that this is going to be that deflationary shock that leads to a massive stimulus. So I think that, look, I can't tell you exactly where the levels are, but I do believe that people were talking about a move back down to the low 40K. People were talking about a dip here before we mooned. I mean, that's what I was talking about on the way up. I just didn't think it was gonna happen because we were showing so much strength. Now it feels like this could have just been sometimes the excuse. For right now, I'm seeing this still as the prelude to a massive experiment where essentially they start drenching Bitcoin and every other market in cash, in free money, like we saw on March 2020. And we know everything after that March 2020 dip was a never-ending green candle, pretty much. So what's going to happen next, I feel like, is round 2 of that. And in many senses, that's extremely, extremely bullish for crypto. It might be very bearish for the US dollar, but bear in mind, the US dollar is looking to make new yearly highs right now. Dixie's looking really, really strong. So with the strength in the dollar and essentially the potential tapering, which was definitely a discussion a few days ago, I don't think it's a discussion right now. I don't think tapering's even in the conversation. Why? Because the dollar's looking strong, especially now against the Chinese currency, which might need to get debased heavily to offset this. From a macro perspective, printing doesn't sound all that bad. So to me, printing is gonna happen. I feel like I would bet 95% or more that big amounts of printing are gonna come in to stimulate the economy, and that's going to be amazing for asset valuations. None more amazing than Bitcoin and crypto. That's my big update right now. I know things are really, really scary and that it's hard not to get super freaked out by what you're seeing, but in my opinion, what we're gonna see here is absolutely the U-turn here, as predicted by Cathie Wood, one of the best investors of our generation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, I'll be here each and every minute of this, riding this with you, and I believe that we'll end up in the place we're supposed to go, which is up. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you're not too scared. Hope this is, I guess, after all the volatility we've been through, a little more palatable. And like I said, if you guys want more, follow me on Twitter. I'll be tweeting all night and all day, staying up to date with this. Thanks, guys.